Hi, I'm Penny Z. It's Tuesday at 6:30, so it's time for what we're reading. Tonight, I'm very excited to have Kent District Library's Community Engagement Manager, Sara Proano, who's a lovely person and so fun to talk to. But Sara, tell me, what is a Community Engagement Manager?
It's a great question, Penny. Thank you for inviting me tonight. A community engagement and manager helps the library and whatever organization you're in to connect with community, to listen to community, and to design programs and services that with the community so that they reflect who we are. So that's my job. And my job is inside the library and then outreach, to the other side of the job, which is when we actually go outside of the library's walls. So that's my job, and I love it.
Yeah, and I hear that you drive something kind of fun. Something.
Yeah,
Tell us
that,
about what you get to drive sometimes as a community engagement manager.
that's right. Yes. So as part of the outreach, one of the things that we try to do in outreach is to, put the library on wheels. Just beating the mobility problem. So we have a beautiful bookmobile that was designed, custom designed for us. Everybody got to to decide what we needed to have in that beautiful vehicle. So now we have these um, 22,000-pound vehicle with technology and all kinds of things, including a puppeteer door. And all the services that you have in a library are there. So whenever we go with the bookmobile, the library's coming with us. It's amazing.
That sounds so fun. I wish I had had that when I was a child because that sounds like the best thing to have the library pull up to your house almost, or pull up to your school, or pull up somewhere that you are and go in and you can check out books, right?
Yeah, you can check out books, and it's a whole library experience. Penny, we there's a lot of patrons in King County that say, "Hey, I remember the bookmobile. It was so great when I was a child, because there was a bookmobile, and the driver got to come for the first day, the inauguration, where we had a big event, and he was just excited to see the whole project. I would say though that the impact of those years wasn't the vehicle. It was the librarian. You are a librarian, Penny. And what
Yes.
those remember is not the vehicle. It's the librarians because they learn their names, they know what they want, and that is what the library is it's people.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for plugging us librarians. I can't wait to see people in my library again. I know today was the first day that people were coming back into the library. I work at the Ada branch, so it's not quite open for people yet, but soon. And I can't
Oh,
wait to see everybody inside the library.
I can't wait to see it too. I told you offline, I haven't been there, but I can't wait. It looks
I
amazing.
know.
I you got to make it. If you're in Kent County, if you're stumbling into this program, if you're in Kent County, make a list to go visit every single library of the Kent District Library, or in and beyond, GRPL and Sparta, because every library has a personality and they reflect their own communities. It's so great. So we do these with my kids, and they cannot wait to go see your library. So when are you going to open? You don't know yet.
We are not absolutely positive yet. We still have people with hard hats and loud machines in the library while we're putting books on. So we can't say exactly the date. We're thinking very early in February. So
Oh,
it's almost time. So it's very
yeah.
exciting. Please watch our Facebook page, KDL's Facebook page, to find the date that opens. So, Sara, um, it's my show, and it's Tuesday night, so it's time to ask you, what are you reading?
Great question. I am a double book reader. I I read depending on what's going on. So if I have if I need to inspiration, I read certain things, and then there are other things that I just read for fun or just because I want to feel, So today I have a couple of things to share. Let me share the first one. So this is a super special book for me. And I cannot tell you how special this is. So let me show it to you.
Okay.
The name of the book.
Library book, so that's nice.
It's a library. You can check it out. It's in Spanish because I speak Spanish. This book, the author is Hugo Riquelme, and Hugo passed exactly the day that I informed him that this book was coming to be in our collection that day.
Oh,
and it's very special because you know how you can get to know a person when you read what they write, and I feel that like I am sitting in front of him, and I just wish I could have the chance to just spend hours listening to him. This book is called Chronics in Spanish, but Chronics of Clay and Moons. And the book is an incredible account, and I don't know exactly the story of the book. There's mention of some writings that the author found that were written by the main actor, the main character, and then other people that talked about him. I don't know if that's the case or if he totally made it up. I have no idea. But it is an account of a kid. His name is Marcelo Alcaraz La Rosa. It's called El Negro or Negro, the black. In Spanish, doesn't have a negative connotation as it does in English. Let me just say that very clearly. It's just a way that we, sometimes we call each other. But the child is a child from an impoverished area, and he just tells his story. He loses his mother. His father has been incarcerated. He lives in a tiny little place and he goes from place to place. His house, his bed has fleas, but he has friends, and there's people that are super nice outside, and that give him some comfort and friendship, and he gets in trouble, and it's just a super colorful description of the reality of this child, and how he survives and how he interprets the world. And then the other people that are around him start kind of like pitching in his story, and they're telling the same story, but they're telling them from the perspective. It's incredible. It's just heartwarming, and just it confronts you. It helps you understand that sometimes when we haven't felt some realities, like if you have never felt true hunger, you can feel it through the eyes and through the words of this child. Yes. We have never felt, oh my goodness, it's so cold. But he describes it in a way that you feel you're there. And through him, you're there with him. It's just very good. It's great.
And you met the author on that day that you got the book into the collection. Is some of this based on his experience? Did you know that?
I didn't meet him on that day. It was just a quick conversation, and it was over the phone. But months before, he came to our library, and he was part of a think tank that we have with the Spanish-speaking authors and people that are interested in literacy in general. And we had them in the library to try to advance some of our Spanish-speaking initiatives. And he was very quiet. He was in a corner of the room. But when he spoke, he immediately engaged me. You could tell that behind his words, there was a very cultured soul, very, very experienced soul. And in the beginning of the book, he writes, I don't know if it's him writing about himself or somebody else writing about himself, but you get to know that he was actually kind of a privileged child because his parents were able to give him an amazing education. And he had the chance, he was a singer He was an author and a singer and an artist. He had incredible teachers and incredible access to education. And then when the dictatorship happened in Chile, he moved to the US and he ended up in the fields, breaking his back. Yes.
Oh,
and then
wow.
years in a company, kind of in an industry, just you could say below his education and his story. And between all that, he was also a pastor with very,
Wow.
theological understanding of the Bible and the context of the history of the church. So he was incredible, really incredible person. And you can see it because, this kind of stuff doesn't come from a non-cultured soul. He's an incredible human being. And for me, it's emotional because I passed the chance of sitting down and just listening to him because I was doing something else. It was busy that day or whatever. Not in the day that this happened, but before. And then he's not here anymore. And I wish he was. It's just incredible. Yeah. So if you have the chance and you can just take a look.
Yet you have his book.
Yeah. It's not an easy read because he makes up words. So people don't speak and when you're in a area full of poverty, there's people that don't know how to write and read maybe, and they speak in a certain way, and he writes exactly the same way. So sometimes he puts two words in one, or he splits one and then you have to kind of like, oh, all right, that's what he means. And it's
almost a dialect.
It's musical too. It's very musical because he puts a lot of poetry. He has poetry from many different people, and also music, tango. Because in the novel, the characters sing a little song, or they remember something, or they say, like, so and so said. So it takes you to so many different things that just explores all kinds of richness that he was able to share. So take a look at this amazing book and just give it a try.
Now, Sara, I want to ask you before you move on. I know you've got more books, but that book is in Spanish, and not everyone may not know that we have books in other languages at the library.
Yeah.
And how to get them. We actually have books for every reading level in Spanish. We have board books for babies. We have novels for adults, and pretty much everything in between. So please ask the librarian if you need help finding those in the catalog, and we can get you hooked up. Do you have some Spanish language books on the bookmobile too?
Absolutely. We have not only Spanish, we also have Vietnamese, Mandarin, Chinese, and Swahili. We have a couple of, we don't have Arabic actually, but we have some languages. And if you request us, if there's a way in which you request us by going to KDL's website, and there's a bookmobile request there. If we go to you and you tell us that you want multilingual books, we will make sure to bring those with us, because that's part of the collection. We can switch it. But to your point of every reading level, a lot of Spanish immersion families want to expose the kids to different levels, and it's great to have a conversation with your librarian and just custom made a list of books that the kid can access. Now, if you're an adult, you still may have different reading levels, right? And I think we have in English, we have what is called the Spark collection, which tell us what reading level this is. In Spanish, we don't have quite that, but I think that with a conversation with your librarian, you can find something that is at your reading level. I was looking this morning. I don't have it here. One book that I loved that was actually given by the Grand Rapids Public Schools to every child in Spanish. It was called The Distance Between Us, and it's in Spanish too. That book It's a very incredible novel, and that is a very low reading level. Not low. Not, let me don't say. I'm not going to say low. It's like lower than this. Lower than this. So it's, you can understand it better because there's nothing like so contextualized as this is. This is his picture,
so it's
by the
good
way.
for beginning readers to get language. Oh, look at him!
Right.
I love the hat.
Yeah. What a personality. Incredible. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, the books. I have one book that we have in the library. See, this is about eating, and I got it for our library.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Oh, great. So wonderful. I wanted to mention a comment we got, Sarah. I hope you feel good about this. It says, you are describing and expressing it really well. It has been very emotional listening to you.
Oh.
So a compliment to you about your description of this book. So
it's part of the Riquelme family. So, Alexandra, thank you for the privilege of sharing this with our viewers. And we're honored to have your father's work in our library. Yeah.
Thank you. Yay. So you have another book with you too, Sarah. What's that?
I do. I got so emotional.
Take a minute. You're on the point.
Well, as I said, moving on from this one, which is so difficult to move on from it because you want to go on, you want to live with him. But this is an interesting book. It has not. It's a new release actually. It's an artist. His name is Makoto Fujimura. He's a Japanese artist, and he paints with traditional ingredients. So some of them are, come from shells and different types of clay, and then he paints with gold and silver. And he's
really,
yeah, he does abstract painting. Let me show you one over here. He paints in layers. So when you see one of his paintings, his studio is in Princeton. It has layers, so you can actually see different things depending on where you are. So that's one. See that?
Oh my! It looks like there's texture that I want to touch.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
It's very
textured.
This is called with mineral pigments, sumi ink, silver, and gold on Kumohada paper in 2014. So, but he's very interesting just for being an artist. But what is more interesting about the book, and look at the title, Culture Care. So the book, the proposition is the culture is not something that you have to conquer. It's something that you have to nurture. And the culture is something that everybody can invest in order to build something together. That we cannot start or just define that this is my culture and that's yours. But our collective culture requires nurturing. And it takes you through a journey, an incredible journey to generate, to create with your talents, and then choose life, in other words, and take control of the fact that it's us today, the ones that are creating culture. So I love the title, who thought about it? Not cultural awareness or not cultural intelligence or not cultural, how you say, all these competencies, not all of that, but culture care. Culture care embraces my culture and your culture, you embrace yours, but we both become creators and generators of the common culture. And he's just he's full of hope. So it's one of these authors that just takes you to a different place where when I need this, when I when I need some inspiration, he resonates with me. Can I read something with you? Something that someone else wrote? Okay. 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 This generous inspiring work, culture care. In this generous inspiring work, culture care, artist Mako Fujimura suggests that our common culture is not a territory to be captured, but a garden to be cultivated, needing of nourishment, of creativity, community connection, and the generation of beauty. It is a grace-filled call to beat swords into plowshares and to take up the work of tilling our common garden. And then somebody else says, um, with much compassion and courage, Makoto, they call it, his name is Makoto, they call him Mako, compels us to take our calling seriously, to care and to cultivate the cultural soil in which we reside. He encourages us to view culture as a biblical alternative against the prevalent culture of anxiety and scarcity. In this posture, every follower of Jesus, he is a Christian, should nurture and embody the gospel. So his proposition comes from Christianity, but he extends that beyond his own set of beliefs, which is, I think, extremely necessary today. And I just love it. The chapters are small, so for me in the morning, like often I do audiobooks because I live so far away from my job. It takes me 45 minutes to get there. So I do audiobooks. But, these are short enough that if I get, this is a chapter right there. If I get in the morning, I can just read one and then it's great.
I love what you said before about you have different books going for when you need different things from your books. And I encourage everyone to do that. Get more than one book when you come to the library, because sometimes you need nurture. Sometimes you need challenge. Sometimes you need a laugh. And what's the other book that you brought, Miss?
So my theme, embracing my own culture. I just wanted to share my Mafalda. For anybody that is Latin America, they will know what I am showing over here. And I am not going to show you only the book, but also the doll.
Yes, I love the doll.
The doll was given to me by a friend years and years ago. She is a cartoon, a Latin American cartoon by this guy, Kino. And Kino is his name, but that's not his real name. But he is he's a commentator on society and political commentator too. So he takes this lady, Mafalda, she's a little girl and she has all these friends, and it's kind of like the Peanuts, kind of the same idea.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown, yes. But they and I'm going to show you some of the drawings.
Okay.
So she has pretty strong sets of beliefs. And for example, one of her best friends is a tiny little person, but with a big voice, and her name is Liberty. And then her brother is all crazy. She loves the Beatles. It's just super awesome. And I learned so much truth with Mafalda. Cartoon.
Now, I think that would be a great book if you're just learning to speak Spanish.
Well, actually, I would tell you this, Penny. You want to understand the culture behind the language, because language is culture. You got to understand how the culture laughs. What makes culture laughs? Because like jokes, they don't translate from culture to culture. Well, sometimes, but very seldom they translate. Right. That's why, I am a translator and an interpreter. That's one of my certifications that I have. But as a translator, sometimes you have to say, no, and now please laugh because there was a joke and there's no translation. You doesn't understand these nuances, and it's funny. But that to say that humor, it's a window to a way of thinking.
Right.
And Mafalda does that to you. It also is a window to an era, because she was from the 60s, 70s kind of that time. And
which country is she from?
He's Argentinian, I think. I'm pretty sure. His name is Joaquin Salvador Lavado, and I think he's Argentinian. I'm pretty sure. I am not sure, actually, but I am 90% sure he's Argentinian. I should know more, but
that's okay. But Mafalda makes you laugh.
Oh yeah, she does. She's incredible. For example, there's one. I'm just going to tell you one. I can't find it right now because this is too big. But she's just she's in one of the stages, and she's holding something in her hands, and says bureaucracy. And then the next scenario, she's still standing there. And then the next scenario, she's still standing there. Finally, in the fourth scenario, a little turtle starts, showing its and finally they get together, and she says, "Your lettuce." Bureaucracy. So I find it really funny.
Do you share her with your kids?
Oh yeah, they know her. Yeah, I sit down with them, and some of them I have to translate, and some of them I have to kind of explain the whole thing. But then I have found them that they come to the library and they look and they're like, ha ha ha, on their own. Which is super funny.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So I know you have kids. I'm going to put you on the spot because we didn't talk about this. Is there any book that you're reading with them particularly right now?
Well, my two older ones are extremely good readers, and I cannot keep up with them. My daughter, very much out of my control and away from my preference, started reading horror books. I am not super thrilled about it. She's reading one called Fear right now, and she loves it. Then Gabriel's also reading one that is about, kind of like zombies or something like that. So I'm not reading with them right now. But my little one, the 1-year-old, I read with her, and she loves it. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite little board book you read with her?
So she loves Daniel Tiger right now, and for Christmas we got her a beautiful velvet, around with Daniel Tiger. Oh, what a terrible idea! They're a terrible idea. The poor she's 18 months, so now the book is like completely, all over. But she loves her book, and she reads it, because she doesn't talk yet, so she's like. So, I gave up. The book is a mess.
That's teaching literacy, even if they learn that a book gets opened this way and the words go this way and the things on the thing actually mean a sound.
That's right.
All helping her learn to read. So
yeah, she loves the Brown Bear, of course, and we have it in Spanish too. But no, her favorite book is the book that she can tear apart.
Not a library book, please.
No. No.
Sarah, it was so delightful having you join me today, our community engagement manager, Sara Proano. So if you want to see Sarah in your neighborhood, contact KDL for the bookmobile.
Yes, KDL.org/partnership.
Partnership. Great.
Yes, thank you, Penni. You're amazing. I love you. You are an amazing librarian, a true librarian.
Thank you. I love the job title. Librarian.
Yes.
Thanks again, Sarah. Next week, I've got the fabulous Trisha Hetrick from our Cascade branch, who loves to read the thrillers.
Oh, yeah. I gotta get
some books to keep you on the edge of your seat. Join us next week for Trisha. Sarah, have a great night. Thanks again for joining us. See you guys next Tuesday at 6:30.
See you. Bye-bye.